We have really short attention spans, don't we?
We do.
I mean, you worse than me, but it's bad.
Well, you know what keeps my attention is
What?
shows like this one where we're going to actually be exploring RWBY, Rooster Teeth's big hit American anime show, RWBY, which I don't really know much about, but I'm looking forward to learning about.
I'm
I'm
so
an
impressed
owl.
you knew that much.
Well, I mean, you told me what to say.
We have the creators, we have a bunch of really important people behind the scenes, and then we're gonna have the cast of the show. We're really excited to explore this. It's such a phenomenon to have an American-made anime show that did this well. So join us while we explore. I'm a Shiver Show.
Is your kid Daft Punk? I hear there's an opening in Daft Punk, so I think now's the time. One of them blew up. I guess spoilers? I don't know. Does that count as spoilers?
Maybe.
Anyone could be Daft Punk.
I'm gonna fight you on that, Eddie.
Thank you, guys. Giving
Absolutely.
Sammy Strong some love. He actually is obsessed with jazz and then making techno music and putting it together. Cool.
That's cool.
He's fucking cool.
It's really
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, kids. Hi, everybody. I have to say, I didn't really know about this show until I knew we were going to work on it, and I watched a few episodes and looked into a little bit about the origin story. But I want to start with everybody's origin story that's here and how they came to be on this show. And I'm just going to go in order of how it appears on my screen. So first, can we take turns introducing yourself and telling everybody where they can find you on social media? We'll start with Melanie.
Oh gosh, the first one. Hi, I'm Melanie. I am the lead animator for Volume 8 of RWBY. And I'm basically Mel Sternum on everything. Try to keep it consistent.
Thank you. Okay, Kerry.
Hi, I'm Kerry Shawcross. I was on the project day 2 basically, and you can just find me at Kerry Shawcross on everything: Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Last but not least, Eddy.
Hey, I'm Eddy Rivas. My handle is at Eddy Rivas on pretty much everything. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter and other places. That's Eddy with a Y.
We got
I
that
like it.
consistency.
Yeah.
I like it. Carrie, I'm picking you because you have a dog pillow in the background, so you must be an animal lover.
It's actually from our show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have there's a cute corgi that we don't get to see enough of named Zwei.
True.
Oh.
That's definitely not a reference to Ein from Cowboy Bebop.
I actually got one of those made for my girlfriend when she lost her those really gorgeous hounds, with the long hair. They're like supermodels. And from the reverse, the pillow just looks like a penis. And I'm like, her dog died. Do I send the penis pillow? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, you just gotta make sure you have to have the facing this way on the box, so you get the good first impression,
Yeah.
and the second impression comes later.
Right. And it's the thought that counts. You want to send
It's hard
Yeah.
to get rid of a
Yep.
first impression. That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Kerry, since you've been there since day 2, tell us your origin story. And so you pronounce it RWBY. Everyone does.
Yeah, so it stands for the 4 main characters of the show: Ruby Rose, Wai Schnee, Blake Belladonna, and Yang Xiaolong. They form a team named Team that goes by RWBY. It's also led by RWBY. Definitely never gets confusing. I started the company in 2010. I was working on Red vs. Blue. I worked on seasons 8, 9, and 10. And while we were doing that, I was also getting to know Monty really well, who was the creator of the show. And we just spent a lot of we were trying to go above and beyond to make RWBY season 10 the best it could be, which meant a lot of late nights. And we kind of filled that in with talking about this idea he had, and it just kind of grew from there. It's crazy to me that was 8 years ago plus now, but here we are, and now we're nearing the completion of our 8th season airing.
And how did you meet him?
Through work. He had started on Red vs. Blue season 8 when the company decided that they wanted to start doing custom animation for a show that is normally machinima. So, there's this really great moment in season 8 where, everything up to that point had all been people, using a controller to make characters' heads pop up and down, and maybe like an occasional Photoshop joke here and there. and all of a sudden there was like a 3-minute action sequence that was custom animated in the middle of it. They told nobody about it beforehand. They didn't even like Monty didn't post that he was working in the company yet, and nothing. So just kind of as like a complete surprise. So I met him there. We ended up just talking a lot because we both liked anime and fights, and he was almost like fully nocturnal, and I just liked working, and I was trying to prove myself. So I was staying there till like midnight every night.
Oh, I love it. And what were you working on before that? What was your background?
I was 19 when I started, and I was going to school. I was going to community college for programming because I wanted to go into video games. When I got an internship, and I tried making both work for about a year and realized that wasn't going to work, so I just dropped out of college. So don't do what I did.
Why
Kids.
not? You're living the dream. I think we
Yeah,
put so much
if
pressure
the
on
right
kids to
opportunity
get
comes
into the
up.
right college, and
Yeah.
most people don't use. Not that I'm against higher education, believe
No,
me.
I'm not
My
either.
kids are going to college, but
Yeah.
the pressure to know what you want to do, or think what school I have to get into for this, or even graduate from the right program. There's nothing right. You might change your mind
Mm-mm.
at 50. I have friends that total new careers that they never trained in. So good for
I-
you for following your dream. It's working.
Thank you.
It's working
Yeah,
out.
I appreciate it. I wake up every day and I think about how fortunate I am. I do think college is great if you don't have any other opportunities right now, go to college, learn some stuff, meet some people. It's great. But
Yeah.
I had other stuff I wanted to do.
That's amazing. That's amazing. But Melanie, you actually did come from a VR video game background, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that? And then how you
Yeah.
found RWBY?
Yeah. So, just growing up in general, I was really into like Pokemon. And I was a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. And I really wanted to make Sonic the Hedgehog video games, and I made my own characters. And so that passion just kept going. So I ended up graduating high school, and I went to Savannah College of Art and Design for animation. I was trying to figure out game design or animation, but I just love animation, and I always have. And then once I graduated, I started at an indie company called Ape Law. They were working on a horror type VR video game. It was fun. I still didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do, because like with video games, you have like cinematic animation, or like actual, like you're doing the characters running or jumping or attacking or whatever. And then I grew up in Austin. So I saw one day that Rooster Teeth was hiring. And I was like, oh, I know them. I watched Red vs. Blue when I was 14. So I ended up applying. Luckily, they liked me enough. And I started in the middle of Volume 3. So I've been at Rooster Teeth since 2015, which is crazy because I still feel like I just graduated high school.
Aw, that's a
And
great
there's my cat.
origin story. And also like such a good positive message for young artists and people that want to do things in video games, because people that don't understand that world have no clue how many factors go into making a
Yep.
video game, how many humans are working on this process. And like you said, there's gameplay, and there's like, whenever I'm doing particularly a Harley Quinn video game, like the inaction and the death stuff and then the scene stuff, like there's so many. And then you have to do like every version, right? Like, I don't know, but you work on games for years and years. So anyways, I love your origin story. Thanks
Thank
for sharing,
you.
Melanie. Eddie, you're up.
Yeah, I realized earlier I didn't say what I do on RWBY. I'm I'm a co-writer of RWBY, and I am the brand archivist for kind of the franchise, working with partners. And anytime we do big partnerships, comic books and other things, helping Kerry keep the lore straight as much as I can.
Nice.
Good, because I forget everything.
I'm a little bit older than these guys. I was in a totally different career before I started at Rooster Teeth. I graduated from Florida State University with a degree in creative writing and religion. I double majored. It's a weird combination. But yeah, I actually went from there to be a copywriter. So I was a copywriter for a number of years, working in the corporate world. Worked for some big restaurant brands, worked for a big home improvement brand, doing a lot of ads, billboards, things like that. And I ended up getting hooked up with Rooster Teeth kind of around that time that Kerry was talking about during Red versus Blue season 10. I was a big Rooster Teeth fan, big Red versus Blue fan, and I got to know kind of the founders of the company, because me and my friends, we were also making kind of videos on the side in our free time, just kind of like moonlighting, trying to do the same exact type of stuff they were doing. They saw our content, they really liked it, they reached out to us, and we kind of went up to the office, started a relationship with them, and I think it was around 2011 during Red versus Blue season 10 that I came on kind of as a freelance writer, working on that show. And then just kind of over the years did probably about 5 years of contract work with the company, working on more animated stuff, and eventually joined the company full time in 2016 as a video game news writer, because Rashid had a video game news show that they were doing, and eventually joined the animation department, working on some of their shows and helping as the brand archivist for RWBY. And now I'm one of the co-writers of RWBY. So it's been a
So
been a
what I'm
journey
getting
to get
is you
there.
can do everything. Is that what I'm understanding?
That's fair.
My goodness. Oh, I love that. And you know what? Isn't it great too that everyone here is getting paid to do what they love? They're working,
yeah,
and like
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
that is the secret to a life. You know, I worked with Stan Lee many times, and he came in to do Spider-Man. Like they let him do some voices on the show, and he looked so good, and he was always in such a good mood. And I'm like, Stan, what is your secret? And he said, never retire.
Hmm.
Do what you love and never retire. And I was like, oh, I love that. And then I asked him, like, how does it feel that your brain came up with so many iconic characters? And he said, I always had a good team. Like, he was just so modest too.
Aw.
He's just a sweetheart. Anyway, we're just lucky that we get to
Mhm.
do what we love.
Absolutely.
So tell me, I want to get into like the success of it and if you've seen it at cons and get into the shipping element, but I also want to touch in a little bit about the creator. It has a tragic story, and maybe, I don't know, each of you can sort of share your stories of how you continued on once Monty passed, and I'm sure that was horrible, challenging, whatever, but anything you feel comfortable sharing about sort of carrying the torch after he passed.
It's been tough, and it continues to be tough. It's he wasn't as a very unique individual, and it's taken me years and years and years to slowly come to terms with the idea that I'm never going to be him or be exactly like him, but that's exactly how it should be, because he is him, and but I'm going to be the best that I can be, and I know that he would say the same thing. So it's tough, and it is very not to get too like real, but there are days where it's harder than others, but it feels like he's still around in a lot of ways, because we're working on something that he created with us, and that part's nice.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's so true.
Sorry.
When you create something. No, thank you for sharing that. It's so beautiful. And right, like when you share something that lives on, it's so special. Anyone else want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I was gonna say I unfortunately was never able to meet him. I joined the team later that year. But one thing that I always thought was really cool is, so I would say the first 2 seasons of RWBY, everyone really knows it for the fights that he animated. They're amazing. And even to this day, whenever we have fights assigned to us as animators, we always go back and we always watch the trailers. We always watch the first seasons. There'll be times where we'll implement like certain moves that were animated by him in like the newer fights and stuff. And I feel like that is something really cool that we do to keep it going.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Love that.
Yeah, I actually only met Monty one time. I was at Rooster Teeth doing some mocap for a different project, and he was like one of the only people that kind of knew how that whole machine worked. And he was so graceful, because he had no stake in what me and my friends were there doing, right? But he kind of stuck around all day and like made sure that we understood how the pipeline worked and how to get everything recorded, and was like watching us do like our moves, and was just like kind of giving little suggestions, and kind of hanging around. It was very and I knew who he was, right? Because I was a Rooster Teeth fan. So I thought it was very cool that he kind of stuck around helping our little rinky-dink project kind of get our work done. but like in terms of like kind of the ongoing relationship with what he created, I mean, there are things that are happening in the show that him and Kerry and Miles came up with years and years ago that are still there. They were part of kind of like a big overarching outline, big plot points, right? And kind of the ways we work between them are, obviously things that we're kind of doing on our own, right? But his legacy is still there. Ideas that they birthed years and years ago, right? So in a lot of ways, he still has a big influence on what's happening, because these are things that all of them kind of came up with together. So I feel like he's still kind of speaking through the show in a lot of ways.
I love that so much, you guys. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. And it is a huge success, even in Japan. Like, most anime is made there, but the fact the American anime to be adopted and taken in by people that love manga and really know the history of anime, that must be very rewarding for you guys too, to have created an American version of an anime show that's like loved worldwide. That's actually a huge accomplishment. Does anybody want to speak to that?
Thank you. I was gonna say it's super surreal. We had a chance to go over there and having people who were interested in the show and interested in us, like it's surreal. It's hard not to compare ourselves to anime done over there, because they typically have different budgets and they have a different skill set, and but we're compared to them because of the style. But it's motivation to keep making the show even better, and it's just cool to be a part of that community. We started RWBY because we love anime. We love cartoons and yeah.
What was your like big childhood anime that you're like, okay, I'm hooked?
Oh, I mean, for me, growing up, like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z were obviously up there, but I think Bleach and the original Full Metal were the first. Like, those are the first I was like, oh, this feels like anime. And then quickly got into Bebop and Shampoo and a bunch of other ones.
My kids are so addicted to Bleach. Like just since COVID, they found it during COVID. We actually did a Bleach episode. Like they couldn't stop once they started. They have to watch every season.
I was reading the manga, and my dad came over from England, so we were visiting family over there when I was like 13 or some 16 maybe, I don't know. And I was like over there and like finding new issues of Bleach to read because I caught up on what I brought. And it was like, cool, every one we buy, it's more expensive because it's in pounds, and then we have to bring it back with us. Cool, Kerry, good job.
It's such a brilliant concept.
I had to know what happened.
So much of anime is so high level. I don't think people that don't know anime don't really understand. Like, it's really high concept. It's not mostly for children, really. Although I think Nickelodeon did a great job with Avatar and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyone else have favorite anime? I'm waiting for something that I was in. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's so hard. There's so many good ones. One thing that I just think is really cool that inspires me is like being able to log on to Crunchyroll to read something or watch something, and seeing RWBY on there. Yeah. That's always really surreal to me. I'm like, wait a minute, I do that. My very first anime, obviously, like a lot of people, is Pokemon. I have a Pokemon beanie. Happy 25 years. But yeah, I also started watching anime when I was in middle school because of Adult Swim. So a lot of like Inuyasha, I think, was like my first like real anime. Oh, okay. Hey, cat. Gosh, there was one called Wolf's Rain, which is really cool. And then let's see. Right now, I'm obsessed with Jujutsu Kaisen. Kerry has to hear about it all the time. It's so good, constantly. Oh gosh, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood's amazing. I really like Promised Neverland, which is airing right now too. There's a lot of good stuff. I could talk about it forever.
Aw. How about you, Eddy, with the like amazing camera? You're gonna have to share how you have this camera. You look like you just like shot some film.
You have to ask Kerry about it. I don't know anything about my. I'm always asking Kerry.
Yeah, I was like, that's my lens.
Yeah, I'm using Kerry's lens. I'm like,
all right,
just tell me what to do.
Email me where to get that later. Okay, Eddy, any favorite anime? And then I'm gonna ask you if you've been to anime conventions, so
Okay.
save up your answer for that. Okay, Eddie, go ahead.
Dragon Ball Z was like my big one in high school because I was also into like Adult Swim and stuff. But Dragon Ball Z was the really big one. I actually started writing by doing Dragon Ball Z fan fiction. That was like my foray into creative writing. I did that in high school, like through college. I'm sort of embarrassed to have, not that there's anything wrong with fan fiction, but just for me, I continued to do this for a very long time.
Are you kidding? I love this story so much because so often kids write fan fiction for stuff I'm doing, and then they bring it to me, and I'm always encouraging them because if you love to do that, and then you continue to do that, and then you get to see it come to fruition, how fucking great is that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
many fans do fan fiction, so keep writing, you guys. Like, what a great gift.
Yeah, it's a great way to kind of dip your toes in someone else's sandbox and not have to worry about coming up with, it's a great way. Like I always look at anything creative as a muscle, right? You have to work it out to get to use it more. And to me, it's like one of the easiest things to do is to start working out that muscle is to do fan fiction. One of the other writers on RWBY, Kerry, she also started doing Dragon Ball Z fan fiction. And that's how me and her first met, like 18 years ago or whatever it was at this point. And then when we needed another writer, like I knew here's this other person who is a fantastic writer that I met through Dragon Ball Z fan fiction. And now we're both writing for kind of this anime.
I love it. I love that so much. It's a fun story, and it also encourages young artists. Actually, all of your stories do. Okay, I want to hear if you went to an anime con and before and after RWBY. So I want to hear about you being there and enjoying that success and connecting with fans. Anyone can start.
I guess so. I went to a few anime conventions starting when I was in college, because that's when I started getting back into anime again, because high school I thought it was too cool. And then it made full circle, and now I'm really cool. Based off of that experience, I actually started cosplaying. And then
oh, cool. Is that on your Instagram too?
A few pictures, yeah. I post a lot on Twitter also. I love it so much. I'm actually a pretty shy and reserved person, but whenever I put on cosplay, I feel like I'm like unleashed.
This is a universal theme. A lot of people say that in their real lives they're shy, or they wouldn't wear something like that or do something like that. And they suit up and they suddenly feel like a superhero or someone different. And it's such a wonderful way to explore yourself and all the things that have been hiding inside you. That's why I like cons and connecting with fans. Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
I totally interrupted, and I'm gonna
No, you're totally fine.
I'm gonna stalk
No.
your Instagram.
And then after RWBY, it's always really cool. I always try to take pictures with cosplayers, even though they typically don't know who I am, because I'm just an animator. I'm behind the screen. But one thing that I love that RTX now, my mom actually started cosplaying with me. So me and my mom, one of our cosplays we did together, we did Blake, the main character, and her mom, Collie. And it's like one of my favorite things in the whole world.
I love that so much. I made my mother-in-law do a pony thing one Halloween. That's pretty
Really?
fun. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I like to cosplay. For me, it's fun to because the fans don't know it's me. Mostly, like when I go to Comic-Con, people, I'm like J-Lo right there. I can't go anywhere. They know me. But in costume, people don't know it's me. And there's a million Harleys. There's a million Batgirls. So people stop me for the costume, right? And I told this story already once, so forgive if you've heard it on the show, but this guy's like, can I take your picture? Harley's my favorite. And I'm like, okay, but am I your favorite? And he's like, I don't know, I've seen a lot of good ones. Took the picture and left. Like, I just couldn't wait for him to get home. Go, wait a second.
It's the best. We I think I think it was Anime Expo. There's like this really great cosplayer that they'd done a RWBY that was like I think it was like a feudal era Japan RWBY.
Wow.
So they'd it wasn't just RWBY, but they'd augmented their entire outfit. We were walking by and we just stopped and we're like, hey, can we get some photos? Like, this looks great. And they weren't rude about it at all, but we got a little bit of okay, yeah, you want to take a photo with cute girl. Okay, we get it. So we took the photo and we're like, oh, really excited. And then later, I think the next day or later that day, we had a panel that we were presenting at, and I saw them in the front row, and I was like, I'll bet your day feels like it shifted a little bit now. They're super nice. It was definitely, they were not rude about anything. It was just funny to be to go from, I just don't think they knew who we were to oh, we're here for your panel. Got it. Okay. It was good cosplay.
Great story. I love that. And when you guys go to, actually, I still want Eddie to answer that question too.
I haven't been to any anime specific cons. I mean, I've been to PAX a
Mhm.
couple of times. I've been to I've been to Rooster Teeth's kind of fan convention, RTX. But yeah, I haven't been to a lot of other cons for kind of like other things, or when it's kind of a melting pot of everything. I mean, there's people that cosplay
Yeah.
all kinds of different stuff at RTX. I had a similar story to that, Kerry, where at kind of the RTX, right when I had started writing on RWBY, but before we'd announced it, I saw like a RWBY YouTuber who I won't name. I saw a RWBY YouTuber that I went up and I was like, oh man, I like love your reactions so much. And they were sort of in the middle of something and they were kind of like, okay. And they just seemed like kind of like, why is this stranger talking to me? And I was just like, oh, like I just love watching your reactions. They're great. I loved watching them for this show and this show. And I love watching for RWBY. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I kind of walked off. I was like, oh, I don't think they realized. But,
Isn't that fun? Isn't it so rewarding seeing people cosplaying as characters you had a part in bringing to life? What's that like for you guys? Give me your best cosplay stories.
Oh man. I mean, okay. So I think my favorite. I mean, that was how we knew we made it. Like, was, you know, before the show even came out, we had people cosplaying RWBY. And it's great because she has this giant scythe. So you can always, when you're at cons, you can always go like, up there's one, like back there, you know, it's awesome. Like we absolutely, like, if you do cosplay, thank you so much. I think my favorite story was in volume 3. We showed RTX takes place over, you know, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And our panel was on Friday and we showed a clip from the first episode of volume 3. And it featured, it was kind of like our tournament arc, and it featured a new team, Team Auburn, that was going to be fighting in the tournament. And we had another follow-up panel on Sunday. And by Sunday, we had 4 people cosplaying the characters that we had just shown them for the first time on Friday. They spent most of Saturday getting stuff, making it so they could show up to our panel on Sunday and take photos and show it to us and all that. It was amazing. It was like one of the coolest things ever.
You know what? I've never heard that story in any way ever. That's a great story.
It was amazing. And I felt great too, because it was Erin Wynn, who is currently our art director. She just started as like basically our second concept artist like ever on the show. And she was like the first characters that she designed. So like she got to see like them like come to life like within the span of 2 days. It was crazy. It was amazing.
Yeah, those guys are like sewing all night and trading foam and paint. I mean, I ripped the butt of my Batgirl costume at Comic-Con one year, and thank God my girlfriend had a needle and thread and like literally sewed up my butt in the bathroom. I mean, amazing. Okay, anyone else cosplay story?
Yeah, I was actually going to say something similar because the same thing happened the next year whenever we revealed Ruby's new outfit in the RWBY trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl showed up the next day dressed up as her, and I was like, what the heck? Like, that's bonkers. But I was going to say, I think my favorite cosplay, like RWBY cosplay I've ever seen, gosh, I can't remember what year this was, but someone and like a few others were in a giant dragon Grimm costume, and it was huge. And I have a video of this dragon and then this little boy dressed as Link, like with his sword, fighting it. And it is the most incredible thing. And like, I think they had it set up where it could like, the eyes like light up and like something like it was crazy. Team effort.
Amazing. And do you guys ever get like we have like a whole wall at Teen Titans at Warner Brothers of fan art where people are drawing our characters shipping stuff like that. Do you guys get stuff like that?
Oh,
or
yeah.
of course,
Yes.
ideas for shows. You guys want to share any funny ones?
We have like a wall at the office that we all haven't been to in a year, that we post stuff. And we'll also for the longest time, it may still be going, again, I don't know, but we had our wallpapers like on our computers were all like rotating fan art, like the screensaver was, so we could like see fan art. We actually, it's funny, in it was volume 2, we were using fan art as like art in the outros. Like we'd contact them and get permission. And less than like 6 months later, one of those people was actually working with us. Not even because of that, but we just kind of realized like, oh wait, that was you.
I love that story. We had that happen on Titans too.
That's so cool. I know, fan art's great.
Fan art is usually really good. Like, these are no joke, these artists. Amazing.
Yeah. So
I love that so much.
It's cool. We
They're
always,
so fast too.
Yeah.
They're
I mean,
so fast.
we'll put on an episode and they'll have done art of some of the moments in it, right?
On
Within
Twitter.
a couple of hours. And then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
always amazing.
Yeah, when you told the cosplay story, in my world, it would be like something happened at a panel and like within 20 minutes, it's drawn. Some fan art,
Mhm.
some amazing fan art, and tweeted it. We're like, wait, there's me and Greg kissing. Like, how did that happen? Greg, my co-host, who's not here today for some reason. And I think I would get in trouble if I didn't play his favorite game, which
boy.
I think is kind of lame, but we have to do it because, Greg would cry. So you guys have to answer the ship, marry, kill question
All right.
as it pertains to your show.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Non-canon,
Non-canon.
non-canonical disclaimer. I'm guessing ship stands for something else.
Relationship,
Okay.
Making
Okay.
out,
Yeah.
hooking up,
Hi.
you know.
Hi. All right.
Yeah.
getting busy.
Oh, that's so hard.
I'd probably kill Neptune, who's the character that I voice,
Oh no!
so
Why are
that
you
I
killing
could,
yourself?
well, I could wear his skin and be him,
Wow.
and then be in the world. So I would so I have to give the weird answers. And then, oh man, I would ship Yang probably because it's Yang, and I would marry. Oh man.
It's hard.
Oh man, that's a whole lifetime.
I mean, you could break up. Happens.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'll say Sun. He seems really fun. I got the Neptune thing. What I'm gonna do is replace my character Neptune in the show with myself. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Do you guys all do voices on the show?
No,
I,
I don't.
I did an off-screen voice
Yeah.
Okay, that's
You did
fun.
some extras.
once. Yeah.
All right,
Eddie, I
all
actually have a
right.
thing for you coming up. I'll talk to you about it later.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Excellent.
What about my thing coming up? Where's my part?
We would love to have you on the show.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have your email now. I've tricked you. That's
This is all a long con.
yeah.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
in.
Prepare for
All
some
right.
scripts coming your way.
Okay, I'm ready. Eddie, ship, marry, kill.
Okay. Ship. Robin Hill.
Mm.
I've just got a thing. And let's see. Marry Jean. I feel like you'd be a very good husband.
Yeah.
Good life partner. Kill. That's the one that I'm like. Probably.
If you said Salem, you could solve a lot of problems for
Yeah,
all of our characters.
solve a whole lot of problems.
She's like our main villain, so you could just take
Oh,
her
okay.
out for us.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll say kill Salem.
Thanks, Eddie. Thanks for doing
fixed
that.
everything.
Thanks
Yeah.
for killing her. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Melody.
the other characters are really excited now.
Oh my gosh. Ship. I think I would do Crow.
Good
That's
answer.
fair.
That was almost mine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also want to marry and kill him.
Sounds about right.
Hey, has that
Yeah.
happened before? Is that allowed? Can they all just be
All
one?
Yes. Uh-huh.
You just have to be very okay. What's the order? I guess it's pretty clear.
There's a progression.
Yeah.
You ship them, you marry them, you kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duh. Okay.
Gosh, Mary, I'm not entirely sure. I almost want to say Collie because she's best mom and she's really cool.
Mhm.
And then kill probably Watts because I just don't like him.
Aw. I love that. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate you
Thank you.
taking some time out. We're gonna get some fun cosplayers on, and before we go, I thought it might be nice because you really are all part of something created online. I think it's like the first time that an online anime show built from the States has become such a big success. So, if you had any messages for your fans, I thought now would be a nice time.
Thank you. I mean, we say this a lot, but like, I feel like we can say this more than maybe a show that's on TV or I don't know how all this stuff works, but we literally would not be here if it wasn't for you all sharing with your friends and buying our merch and being first members and just being supportive. I mean, like we are able to make the show, we've been able to make it better and better because y'all have continued to support us as honestly as we've learned and grown. I mean, if you look at our first episode and our latest episode, they look like two different shows. And it's because we started this and didn't really know what we're doing at all. And I would say that I still don't, but we've hired a lot of people that do. So thank you for sticking through the highs and lows.
I love that. And by the way, that's pretty much every show. Look at the first season of Fairly Odd Parents and look at
Sure.
season 5. So there's a natural progression that happens as you get to learn what makes all these characters tick. But that was lovely, Kerry. Who's next?
Thank you.
For me, obviously, like, thank you everyone for watching and sharing art. And I think something to keep in mind is I think the show inspires other people, but I want audience and viewers to realize whenever they post and talk and all that thing, it also inspires us. I think it does like a full circle. That's why like RTX is always like such an amazing experience, being able to talk to people who love the show and everything. And it means a lot to me as an animator. People getting excited when they see certain scenes or like seeing the characters do something that they've been waiting for. And it keeps me going. So I really appreciate it.
I love that. I love it. Eddy?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, huge like thank you. Just thank you to everyone that watches and interacts with the show, interacts with us. Like one of my favorite things is to watch reaction videos. It's a rare like as a writer, there's very few things, right? There's not like an equivalent to like playing a rock show and like smashing the guitar at the end. So like like as a writer, you don't get like that many opportunities like that. So like getting to watch people react to a thing that you've written is like, in my mind, is one of the closest kind of equivalent responses to that. So I just huge thank you to everybody that watches it and interacts with it. You know, whether you love it or have some criticisms of it, like I'm really thankful to everyone that watches it and cares enough to engage with it. I think my thing, like just the thing that I like to say all the time to kind of any audience is, you know, I hope it inspires you to create. And if there's anything that you want to do, you know, creatively, whether that's as a writer, artist, animator, start doing it now. You know, don't wait. Don't wait. And I hope that you know, anyone who watches it, like no matter how they feel about it, that they're inspired to create and that they go on to do bigger and better things. And I hope, you know, we get to see that. And just kind of like I've been able to draw a line back to certain things that I grew up loving, that there are people that can point back to, you know, work we did on this show. So that's my big dream.
I kind of love you people.
We kind of
Like,
love you. Thank you.
Maybe I
Likewise.
ship all of you.
Aw.
Could be fun.
I like that answer.
Okay, so before we go, I want to give everybody a chance to let us know where they can find you again. And also, it's a good time to promote anything you have coming up or your favorite charities. Kerry?
You can find me at Kerry Shawcross on everything, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. And I would just ask if you're interested in RWBY, we're airing our 8th season right now. It'll be wrapping up here pretty soon. So check it out on roosterteeth.com.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Eddy Rivas. That's Eddy with Y, EDDY. Yeah, and same as Kerry. If you are interested in, you know, and watching RWBY, please join along for the ride. We're going to be wrapping up volume 8 here pretty soon, and got a lot of cool stuff in store for RWBY fans over the next year plus.
Any spoilers?
My camera is freezing.
Oh no!
Oh man.
I wish I could give spoilers.
No? Okay, don't. You'll get in trouble. You'll get in trouble. I hear you. Melanie.
Hi. So yeah, all my handles are at Mel Sternum. Definitely, as everyone's already said, RWBY. Watch it. It's cool every Saturday for a few more weeks.
Thanks, you guys. You guys were lovely.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks
Thank
so
you
much.
Hey, all you shippers. We're gonna pause right here, but we'll be back with more RWBY, RWBY. That's how we do it, I ain't gonna lie. Ship it show, yeah, man, it's so fly. Cosplayers and 100% more. Greg Sipes coming right at you. Stay tuned. Yeah, the Ship It Show.